and this one's going to be about adjuster screws. So the number one problem spot on the saxophone that can and will possibly go wrong is this spot right here. This is where the B flat bis and G sharp adjuster screws are. These control the height to which G sharp and B flat bis open, which affects tuning, but they also ensure that their respective keys are depressed when the right hand is used. This is the mechanism responsible for multiple B flat fingerings. If you notice, you can press your first finger down right here to play B natural, and then you can add any one of these fingers, 1, 2, and 3 on the right hand to make a B flat. Each of which have their own unique tuning. Most commonly, these screws right here, they just wiggle out of place like a lot of other things on the saxophone. If one of these or both of these are disproportionately adjusted, then you'll have a really hard time trying to play anything below that G sharp, and sometimes if it's really bad, anything other than the bis B flat. Low B flat right here is commonly super duper stuffy if one or both of these key or screws is out of adjustment. If you are having problems like that, like if you're getting a lot of resistance that's not usually there, or if it's really stuffy, or it just doesn't feel right, check these. And the only way to check them is to play around with them. So when you press the G sharp key, your G sharp key should go up. And this one is poorly adjusted because this is my Frankenhorn. So, excuse me. This is also missing a cork, which will have a big impact on tuning and functionality. That's a word, right? Anyways, so this horn is super duper stuffy and resistant. So I would totally understand that now. These two are your number one culprits. If they're out of adjustment, the whole horn's going to be not fun. So if you're in one of those situations, what you can do is you can take a screwdriver, and again, you should match to the size of the screw. So my screwdriver is too small for these screws. But what you would do is you would move in quarter turn increments. So what I mean by that is if you imagine the screw, because they're round, they're circular, imagine them as a clock face. And I want you to turn in 1/4 turn, like 1/4 around the whole clock. And that's how far you turn each time you make an adjustment. You just do that because it's easier to manage and it's less work you have to do. So if you just remember, oh, I just went 1/4 turn and that made it worse, all you have to do is go back 1/4 turn the opposite direction. That's how you use those adjusters. I play it for you, but there's a lot more wrong with this than I want to say. This is a great segue into the next topic, which is main body adjuster screws. So on this instrument, there are 3 that you cannot see. Poop. There are 3 screws behind this brace on this rod tone arm thing. So there's 3 there, and then I'll show you on my alto. You should be able to see that 1, 2, and 3 screws right there. That's the lower stack. And then up here on the upper stack, I play a Yamaha 82 Custom Z. So any Yamaha players will be able to relate. There's another 2. 1, 2, I have no clue if you can see this right now. But those are 2 adjuster screws there. And then the 3 down here. There are also a ton of them disguised as artistic accents. And what I mean by that is this low E flat has one right there with the red felt, or low E flat, low C, B, B flat, all four, can't count, all four have an adjuster screw that has a felt on the other side, and you can do the same thing, except these are way more for tuning. The other adjuster screws are for functionality primarily, so if something's wrong with them, something will be wrong with the instrument playing. If one of these notes is notoriously sharp or flat on your instrument, you can adjust the height by rotating inwards, so right to tighten it down or left to pull it out some, and that will change the tuning of that one specific note or any note that relies on that specific one being closed. So yeah, that is adjuster screws. When you play with adjuster screws, always go in the order down the instrument. So if we're looking at this upper stack on this alto, the screws are right here. This is higher up on the instrument, and this goes to the first finger key. Always start higher on the instrument, higher pitch-wise. So you'll do the B, and then you'll go to the second finger, which actually controls your C natural, your A, and then your G. Do that next, and make sure that whatever you do to this first one is not counteracted by what you do to the second one. Make sure whatever you do to the second or third one in that order. So if you on the lower stack, it'll be third. Make sure that they don't counteract what you're doing. So yeah, that is that. And then just a reminder about adjustment screws. You always need to go slow and adjust in those small increments. Like I said, the quarter turn, that is a great way to go. Just go and turn, and if you play it and that made it worse, undo what you did and then go in the opposite direction, a quarter turn, and go from there. That's the guess and check method that I like to use with adjuster screws.